At the end of the last video, we'd torn this cassette deck to pieces and went searching for replacement belts on the internet. I found the service manual and that had the part numbers for the two belts. Searching for the part numbers only came up with a couple of results. The two belts that I did find that looked like they were OEM replacements would have cost around $50 to buy all four belts. There was another vendor on eBay that had a replacement set for about $20. I decided to buy a pack of 60 assorted belts for under $5. So I'm hoping that there will be one or two belt sizes that work. I marked the original belts with tape so I didn't lose them and started to compare them with the ones that came in the pack. Took a measurement of the belt that seemed to be closest, and it's a little under the 10 centimeters of the original belt, but I figured the original one had stretched a little anyway. Now the belt that broke was 15 centimeters or 150 millimeters, so we're looking for a diameter that's close to 48 millimeters. So I measured some of the smaller ones, so this one's getting closer. Need one just a little bit bigger. And this one looks like it'll be just about right. And now I have a lifetime supply of other belts. Okay, so I test fit the one belt, and as you can see, it has to actually go through the hole, otherwise it's just going to rub against that plastic. So here I'm going to lift up this little piece of plastic very carefully, and then get the belt to go underneath, and then return the piece to its original position. Here we're going to loop it over the capstan pulley and install the capstan on this side. And now using a small hook, we're going to pull the belt over the other pulley. I'm going to install the other capstan on the other side. And using the same hook, we're going to put the belt on the primary pulley. Now because I desoldered the motor, I've decided that I'm going to put some extension wires on it. So if I ever have to take this apart again, I can. So I used wire strippers to strip some ribbon cable. And then we're just going to repair the cable by separating the wires, twisting them, and tinning them to make it easier to solder onto the motor. And here we go, soldering it onto the motor. Apply the heat, and then apply the solder. And then I use a little glue dot just to keep the wire down and take any strain off the contacts. Using the hook, we're going to wrap the belt around the primary pulley. And then we're going to hold tension and make sure that the belt stays in position as we bring the motor assembly up. It's a little hard to see, but I'm actually hooking the belt around the motor. So now all we have to do is put all the screws back in. So we've got this screw here and one down in the bottom. And the final screw in the other corner. Now we have to reinstall the little connector. And now we're going to carefully put the circuit board in place, threading the wire of the motor through, which we will solder later. And then we're going to carefully snap together the top and bottom connectors. Now it's just a case of putting the screws in. One here, one in the corner that's just out of shot. And then the final screw. On the other side, it's the same procedure, installing the belt and the capstan. Installing the other capstan. Installing the belt as we bring the motor assembly in. Here you can get a slightly better view of the belt being looped over the motor. And here I noticed that the belt was on the wrong pulley, so we're just going to put that over like that. And I also checked the previous video, and that's the way it was. Now it's just a case of installing all the screws. So we've got the one in the corner, one in the lower corner. Insert the connector. And finally we're going to connect the wire in the holder. Now with everything in place, we're going to solder the wires onto the motor. I ran out of hands to hold the camera, to solder. I just soldered the wires. And this is what it looks like. So let's put the case on and we'll reinstall the screws and we'll test it out. You got the 2 screws on the back. Two screws on each side. And done. Okay, so let's insert a tape. And press fast forward. Oh, looks like it's spinning, making good sounds. Make sure that it plays. Very nice. And it also rewinds. Perfect. Let's go to the other side. The rewind doesn't sound the same, so we might have to investigate. Gonna regret putting all those screws in. The belt had come off the capstan pulley, and I noticed that I hadn't tightened the one screw enough, and there was some play in the assembly. I used a small wrench on the screw bit and was able to tighten it all the way and re-loop the belt. And now fast forward, sounds much better. And so does rewind. So in conclusion, if you have some skills, it is possible to replace the belts on this device. I don't think it was ever designed to be serviced like this. How long will the new belts last? I really don't know, and we'll find out. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope you found it useful, and hopefully there'll be a new video soon.